Hi,
So
everyone. We
we're
are
live.
live, Layla. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Now I'm looking for you. So okay. All right. All right. All right. Notifications. Okay. Ooh, I don't know how to. Where is it? Where is it? Okay. All right. Well, anyways, you know what? I'll copy it over. You can. I'll share it afterwards.
Sounds good.
How was your day today?
It's been busy.
Yeah.
It's always busy. Yeah, been
That's
busy.
awesome though. You keep busy and you keep. That's how you stay young though, right?
Yeah, well, that's what my mother says. That's why she continues to work at 73. She said, keep working till you go.
Right, exactly, exactly. So, anyways, my group is it's ladies first, and it's such an honor to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me.
I have been following you and listening to your lives, and I'm like, oh my god, I love her, love her. Your story is so touching of
Um,
of everything that you've gone through. This to me, it like touched me. And let
uh,
me tell you, when I saw, because again, I do follow you. When I saw that you got your bachelor's degree, I am like, yes,
yeah,
yes, that's
yes, yes.
beautiful. Love it.
That
You
was an
went
important
back.
milestone. It was an important. I actually started my master's, so doing
Yes,
a
that's
master's.
another thing I know about you. Yeah, you are so inspiring because
uh,
sometimes women think that they just, they're too, their time's gone to go get their education, to do what they need to do and all that stuff. And honestly, that's not true. It's not true at all. You can do it at any age. You can do it at any time. Like it's it's definitely you can do it. And I just
absolutely.
when I saw that you got your bachelor's, I'm like, yes, like that is a powerhouse coming through. She's coming through. So
Listen.
another
Yeah.
day, I actually heard your live. And like I told my ladies, I said this is Apostle Merle Otero from Compass Church from Worcester.
Yes.
I started laughing because I saw your live today and how you referred yourself to a Worcester Rican.
Yeah.
I
Full
love that.
blown, full blown Worcester Rican. I am proud of being a Worcester Rican. I came when I was
That's
about 5 years old to the city.
wow, that's
Yeah, all
awesome.
my life.
That's awesome. So I was just so drawn to you because I'm like, you know what? I need to share this woman with my group because they need to know
Ah,
her. Can you just tell us a little bit of who Merle Otero is, the woman,
okay.
and how she became the apostle who is actually ministering and empowering women through her ministry? Give us a little
Okay.
rundown.
Good. Okay. Well, I think that one of the things about this whole process is that, especially when you've come through this journey, you're not usually too comfortable speaking about yourself. So it's kind of like out of my element. But yes, yes. So Murray, the woman, is a mother of 3 children, grandma of 7 kids, grandkids.
Wow.
Yes,
Awesome.
I've been, I got married at the age of 17.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I quit high school 3 months before my high school graduation.
Oh, wow. I,
I
I just want to clarify, like I like to do for all my women.
you
This
do
is a no judgment zone. Nobody can judge.
That's right.
This
Hey,
is
what
free.
whosoever is without sin, let him cast the first stone.
Amen.
Here we
Amen.
go. Yeah, so I did. I got married at 17. I quit school at 3 months before my graduation. I was already a senior.
Wow.
And I made that big decision. I needed to work and help my husband. So I always wanted to go back to school. But somewhere along the line, when you hear that you're never going to become anyone, that you'll never accomplish anything, that
Right.
you're never good enough,
Right. The
that
dust
your
settles.
time for school education is over. That's exactly what happened. So
Mm-hmm.
I heard a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I did, and it was real tough. And I began to believe it because once you hear things over and over for so long,
Yes.
before you know it, you start thinking it's true. There's some truth to it.
Yeah.
you're conditioned into it, and your mind begins to literally even, go on this breakdown mode,
Yes.
breaking down every dream you had or any
Mhm.
future that you once had or any dreams of an amazing career. It begins to fall apart on you. And that's what happened to me. So after my kids grew up, like I said, 3 kids. It was amazing. It was really tough. It was had
Mhm.
challenges. I
I
come from a
bet.
lot of abuse. My
Wow.
story. I don't want to say a survivor. I'm an overcomer.
I love that. I
I'm
love that. Yes.
I
Yes.
could, surviving is making it through. When you
Right.
overcome, you didn't just make it through. You put on your dancing shoes through the whole process,
Absolutely.
and you walked
Yes.
right in there, and you walked like if it was like your day on the red carpet. That's right. Head up,
Yeah.
belly in, booty out, and you did it. That's exactly that's exactly how it was. So I had to work with a lot of stuff in my own childhood. My mom never knew. We
Hmm.
were adults. We never wanted to hurt her either, so it was tough.
Right. Mhm.
But moving forward, I learned to forgive. I learned to forgive, and I learned that forgiveness, if I were to forgive those that hurt me, it wasn't about them. It was really about me. It was about resilience. It's about, you can't develop resilience when you're not willing to forgive. And I
Correct.
have to go there
Yeah.
because that lack of forgiveness will cause a gap in your resilience. Somewhere along the line, you'll break down. But when you forgive and you continue pressing forward, you develop resilience. So
Yes.
that's what I
Hmm.
did. And I was married. At the age of 38, I went through my divorce. It was really difficult for me.
Yeah.
It was a challenge. At that moment, I thought I was done.
Right. Yeah.
Who
You put
am
in the
I?
towel. That's it.
I've been married for 21 years. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. What am I going to do? I
Yes.
was already in the ministry, so it had its challenges. It
Hmm.
did have its challenges. And but I made a decision to press in. So I did that. And unfortunately, fortunately, I did remarry. Um, and that didn't go well. Yeah, it was really tough
Wow. That
because
is.
I forgot who I was. And I think that
That's the
to
hardest
be,
part.
yes.
That's what women
So
do a lot.
yeah, so when you come, you feel like you failed at marriage.
Hmm.
You give yourself another opportunity to be loved and to love. And then you start loving and you want to be the better person that you were before. You kind of reflect on your past and you realize, okay, I need to change in this, I can better in this area.
Yes.
You do a self inventory and you
Yes.
identify those things that are important. Were my weaknesses? Can
Hmm.
I, what were my strengths? But I need to know what my weaknesses are. Because
Yes.
if I focus on my strengths and my weaknesses can become, what will cause a short circuit in my future because I never address the weaknesses. And that's important. So I did. So I had this plan. I'm gonna be the best wife. I'm gonna be it. This is it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
serve
Yeah.
him. And that was my dedication. I invested everything in me to the point that I forgot who I was.
That is where it gets complicated because
Yes,
that's what I tell women all the time. We give, 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 give. We don't save nothing for ourselves.
that's right.
Nothing for ourselves.
That's
We
right.
give it all away to our families, to our husbands. And like I tell people, I'm like, I'm not telling you by no means to abandon your responsibilities. What I'm
That's right.
saying is you got to find that in a woman in you. Because
That's
if
right.
you're happy, you're going to give them the best version of you.
That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
And when you work on yourself, so in my case, I forgot who I was. I
Mhm.
forgot that I was a pastor. I forgot that I was,
Wow.
this amazing individual. I forgot my passion. I just forgot. It's like I had a muzzle in my mouth for years. And I felt like in this complete bondage. I was blinded. My
Mhm.
daughter would say, "Ma, do you remember who you are? Do you know that you are Pastor Merle?" And she would continue, "You were such an inspiration, Ma. You got to get out of that place." But
Yes.
I started, you make your bed and you sleep in it. And I did.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
I
You
did.
sure do.
And I did that. And that went for about 8 years. And then, he had someone else.
Oh boy.
And yeah, that was
Papa
another
was a
thing.
Rolling Stone. Mm.
Yes. So when you give yourself an opportunity at a relationship and then you find out that the same thing happened and you know that you're not the problem, you kind of think you are for a time being, but then
Yes.
you realize, hold on, I did it this time. I invested. I did. I
Yes.
intentionally made it. I did. but then you realize, okay, so what's going on here? You have to really sort it out, because then you begin to develop low self-esteem.
Yes.
Okay, so you look at these marriages as failures, but you know
Mhm.
what? You got to get out of that place, because I realized I wasn't failing. I was transitioning. I was
Mhm.
going into my cocoon. I needed to go into that cocoon because there needed to be a transformation inside of me.
Yes.
First of all, I needed to shed that old mind, that old wineskin, that old manner of seeing myself. And I started going to school. I decided to go back to school. And I
Right.
did. And,
Mhm.
I got delayed a little when the divorce came through, but the following year I was back in there and I finally made it through. And one thing I can say to any woman that's listening, like you said, it's never too old. You're never too old to study.
No,
You're never
no.
too old to get an education. That's one thing no one can ever take from me. I did it for me.
For you, for you.
Yes, not
And
for
that's what I
anyone else.
encourage women. And like
Yes,
I had one of my good friends on the other day, and like we were saying, she she she's at the point, she got her bachelor's degree. Let me tell you, that was taking one class at a time. And she didn't care. She kept going and going. I'm like, this girl's in school forever. But you know what? She did it. She got her bachelor's and she's blossomed. She's grown her own business. So
that's
even if it takes
great.
you little steps, little step by step, go for it if that's what you want.
Yes. And
Mm-hmm.
never, like I said, the only person that can stop you from meeting your goals and your dreams is yourself. It's
Yourself.
me.
Absolutely.
I keep myself from them. No
Yes.
one can take that from me. It's me. It's my call, my decision. So that's what I did. And I did it. And it was hard going back to school. And I'm in my 40s. Well, now I'm in my 50s, but
Yep.
I
Yep.
was already like 45. And back in school, I felt kind of lost. I felt like a fish out of water. But
Uh-huh.
you know what? I moved forward. I moved forward and I said, I'm gonna do this slowly but surely. And I did. So I'm
That's
blessed.
awesome. It's so funny, right? Because I'm 46, but when you're older and you're in class with all these millenniums and you're like looking around, and it's so funny because you learn from them, right? Because I used to be like, okay, like I'm taking notes, old school. I'm taking notes and I'm taking notes. And the kids are like, just take
What
a
are you
picture
doing?
of the notes. I'm like, you're right. What do we got technology for? I'm taking pictures of the notes. I'm like, you're right. I'm like, you learn from them. This is their
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. And they have a different way of doing it. And
Yes.
we're being smarter, not working harder. It's
Yes. Yes.
smarter, not harder.
Mhm.
So nothing, here I am. I had to go back to school and I'm working on my master's. And so there I was, the extra woman, and I'm still standing. I had to deal with a lot of stigma, personal stigma. I had to really
Mhm.
overcome myself, my own way of thinking. I would look at myself through my culture's eyes,
Yes.
and I would find myself, to be unfit, to be
Wow.
not, and I can move into the ministry aspect of it. I found myself to be unfit. I felt like I was sabotaging myself. I had
Wow.
already
Wow.
counted myself out. I had already turned in thrown in the towel, and I was ready to just move away. But God stopped me. God showed me that His love is sufficient, His grace is sufficient.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
continued pastoring, and
Mhm.
last year, I was anointed as an apostle. So
Nice.
it's been a lot of deserts, a lot of trials. Because when we see people, we don't know the journey that they crossed, that
Right.
what they had to live, their life story that
Yes.
took them to that place. We see this amazing, accomplished person, but
Mhm.
whoa, the story behind it. So I have a lot of battle scars, and every time I see
Which,
them, I'm like, yeah, you got
yes, those are my scars. I got
yes,
those scars. Absolutely. Like I was telling our ladies, just yesterday, just on Wednesday, I was telling them, I said, you have to, you got to do that work within yourself. You really got to look and
yeah,
search. I feel like this is a new season. 2021 is your year to
mhm.
grow. However, be aware because you're going to lose people along the way,
That's right.
because not everybody goes with you on your journey. So you're
That's
going
right.
to lose people along the way, and you might cause some waves. You're going to end up getting a lot of people upset, because then they're going to be like, wait a minute. They're so used to you being in that box
That's
that
right.
it's not, it's a surprise to them, like, I said a little story about when I went on my first girls trip, my, I dedicated my life to my kids and my husband and all that. But then when the kids grow up and they're out of the house, then what? We're looking at each other. So I started doing a little soul searching. So the first time I decided I'm going on a girls trip, it almost caused my marriage, and it caused my family to look and be like, hey, wait a minute, like this is just, you're going to get divorced. Like this is causing a problem. And I said, you know what? I got to do it for me. I have to do it for me.
Yeah.
And I did. And I did. And let me tell you, it was the best thing I did, because now he's used to like me going away and finding myself. And he's like, you know what? Just go. Because I get the better version of you when you come back, when you're happy.
That's right. That's right. And sometimes you're going to ruffle people's feathers.
Yes.
And that's okay. That is okay. And we adapt. People need to learn to adapt. And like you said, not everybody has been called or designed to go with you to the next journey. Some people will not be part of the picture. No. And there'll be some new people that God's gonna bring along the way. Yeah. And it's wonderful to just, don't discount yourself. Don't sell yourself short. And like you said, it's important to be able to have your own identity. I also teach a lot on the fact that when you're married, you are one, but you also you don't lose your identity. You cannot lose your identity because you became a wife or you became a husband. There's still individuality that you were created with, an amazing individual. The word says that we are his workmanship. Yes. So, you being able to be one, but at the same time being my own self.
Your own self. Exactly. Yep.
It is important. So we grow that way.
And like I say, being a woman is the best thing in the world.
That's right. Listen.
We have it all, like I say, we are with the neck. They could be the head of the house with the neck. We turn it however we need to let it go, But it's but let me tell you, it's just, and I that's what I want, and that is where we created Ladies First, because I want women to remember you even though you're that mother, you're that grandmother, you're that wife, you're a lady first.
That's right.
First, you are a lady. You had those dreams, those aspirations, and all that stuff. But somewhere along the way, we lose her.
That's right. That's right.
Her, and we got to find her.
You see, when you're on a plane and, before you take off, when we're getting ready to take off, the stewardess, they have to go through their whole line of the things that we need to do, the safety checks and things like that. Yep. And one of the things that they say, before you put the oxygen on somebody else, you got to put it on yourself. You got to put your own mask first, then you can think about helping the person next to you.
Right.
And that's how we live sometimes. We're putting oxygen on everybody else. We're making sure everybody else has it. And here we are having deficiencies. We're not taking care of ourselves.
Yes.
We become such caretakers. We're used to being caretakers. But you know what? I'm accountable for the life that I waste and for the life that I invest. What I do with it, I will be accountable before God. So you got to shine. When you want to shine, you got to just step up to the plate and say, you know what? Sometimes we were so used to being behind the curtain, looking in a place that no one ever sees us in. But there's a season, I believe in my spirit, Layla, that especially now, this spring, 2021, I believe in my spirit that this is the time when God is going to pull people from behind the curtains and put them in front of the stage. He's going to exhibit the amazing work and the price that we have paid. So understanding that your time is coming, even you doing this, it's such a blessing. Listen, I'm all for this. I love it.
Thank you. Let me tell you, this is something that God has put in my heart for a long, long time. And it's so funny because I have really close friends and they're like, you're talking about this again? Like, do it. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to do this.
That's right.
And I plan to take this full speed ahead. I want to grow this group. I want to offer a lot to these women, and I want these women to offer me stuff because they all have unique qualities, and I want to see that. I want to bring that out in them, and that way they know how special they are, how valuable they are. Because this world needs us women. We're the ones that make the new generation.
You see, the word says iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
So when we get together, we sharpen each other. Yes. We enable each other. When we engage in relationship as women, and we understand that we are the crown of creation. when you look at
That was
yourself,
from. Mm-hmm.
yeah, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you got to say, look at all this goodness that God has created. Because when God created man and woman, he said, this
Yes,
is a good thing that I've done. So
absolutely.
understanding that, and being able to overcome our own, our own, nuestros propios complejos, our complex issues.
Yep, yep. Lo complejo de uno. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so dealing with our own complex issues is important and
Yeah.
overcoming them. It's important. So when I look at myself in the mirror, I realize that, you know what, I would not be here without God, number one. And
That.
number
Amen.
two,
Amen.
I need to make a decision to rise because
Mm-hmm.
you can have all the word inside of you. You can have all the support inside, around you. You can have all the skills, but if you don't activate them, if you don't engage in what you have inside of you, because sometimes we're like a storehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Is what is it when you go in and you rent a not a U-Haul, that place that a storage room.
A storage unit.
Sometimes we're like a walking storage unit. We're
Yes.
putting things in and putting things in and we're loading it in. And,
Yep.
I don't know about you, but Latinos, we're cheap like that.
Yes.
We want a small, we don't want to pay a lot of money, but
No.
we want a room that we can put everything in it, So
Bueno,
here
bello y barato.
hello, en todo tiempo. So understanding that I cannot continue to be a walking storage.
Yes.
I was created to also to give and to impart. You
Yes.
can only fool yourself for so long before you
Mm-hmm.
got to give it. You got to give some of you out, and knowing that we dispense continuously to our families, but dispensing to yourself is important
Yes.
because if you're sick, you can't take care of everybody.
Right.
If you're worn out and burnt out, you know what? We're not going to be able to be functional for our family either. When
Yes.
we're depressed and oppressed, we're not going to be able even to deal with tomorrow because today is so hard to even get through. So we need to be able to get to that place and say, no, no, I know I can do this. If I'm going through
Yes.
this difficulty, I got this.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
created to overcome. And knowing that, so we keep storing, and and that's good. But you know what? You got to bring it out. You
Yep.
got to let it go. There's some stuff that we just got to share. The story is important.
Absolutely.
Your
I
story
always say,
motivates.
our culture plays a huge part in it.
Yes,
Me being from Puerto Rican families, like we're expected to be that good wife. You're
yes,
expected to take care of your husband. You're not expected to really have your own.
that's
And the cultural part, I feel, plays a really big part. Generational curses play a big part. So those
right.
already chains that you have to start breaking.
That's right. When you come to Christ, one thing that we need to understand, according to Colossians, when we come to Christ, everything that kept us, everything that was on us, Christ grabbed all of that. He nailed that thing on the cross.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important. Being able to know the truth that will set you free is important. So understanding, sometimes we think about the culture.
Yeah.
So this is not the ideal setup, but this is what life, my daughters always say. I remember when I went through my divorce, my daughter had a lemonade party.
I love
They
it.
sure did, yeah. Mom, life gave you lemons. Let's have a lemonade party.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
When I walked in, they had this cake and everything in the door. It was a lemonade. It was listen, I said,
I love it.
yes, life has given me lemons. Let's serve the lemonade. Let's share the lemonade. Let's not let ourselves get sour and get miserable and be broken. Yeah, things happen, but you know what? We rise. You got to rise to the occasion. When you rise to the occasion, you got a whole generation behind you of women that are watching you. So when we talk about, I also believe, Layla, and this is something that's not, my mother taught me well.
Mm-hmm.
And I can share this with the ladies because, like I said, I have no filters.
I love it.
I have no filters. And it might be a good thing for some and bad for others, but it doesn't matter. This is who I
Not in
am.
my group.
So my mom always taught me, always have your stash.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have your stash,
Yes.
And people don't want to hear that, but the reality is we need to teach our children, yes, we're one. So, having the joint accounts, it's wonderful. It's productive. It's proactive. It's a teamwork type of thing. Let me tell you one thing I did, and I got to blame my mother for it. If people don't like this one, you got to blame Calmita Arroyo for it. She always tell me this is the money that goes together for the bills.
Yep.
Baby girl, this is the money you stash. You always got to have a stash.
Absolutely. I
I live by that.
preach. I preach that all the time.
Yes. And
You gotta have your own.
challenge. It might challenge the culture. It might challenge the church as well. But let me tell you, things happen. And when I went through my second situation, you know what happened? My bank account was closed.
Oh wow.
Everything I had. So tell me not, I learned my lessons.
Yeah.
So what do I tell women? Always have a stash. Always have your little set aside.
Yes.
Always. You got to always have that because you never know. Plus, life is like this. If your children ever need something,
Yes.
we're gonna eventually go to our stash. We're gonna be even when they're adults. That's what we do.
Yeah.
But it's important in the financial aspect. You gotta listen. You got to have your own little saving, even if it's So I had my. This is our bills money.
Yes.
And this is our family saving.
Yep.
But baby girl, this is my stash.
This is Merle's stash.
You don't know how much I got in it.
Don't need to know.
That's right. Hey, listen, that's personal info. And I don't care. Why? Because when things happen in life, you always have a backup plan. Not that you're expecting things to go wrong, but we need to be wise. We need to be
have
wise.
our own as women.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that. And that's the thing that I want people to get out of their heads. There's nothing wrong with you having your own and being your own woman. And like I said, I preached to the women. I told them, I said, hey, listen, if you got that little $200 in that account, keep building on that. That's yours. Put it aside. Don't worry about it. Because you have to have your own. You have to have your own.
Absolutely. I thank my mother for that.
Mm-hmm.
She taught me well. And awesome. I tell my girls, so you have your family fund, you have your bills funds, but then you have your stash. This is my me stash,
Yep,
and that is completely critical for any woman. Because if you ever want to go buy yourself some hoses or some shoes or just we don't need to have a need to buy ourselves something. We just go to the store and we find something that we need.
That's what my husband says. Every time I see a bag, I'm a bag and shoe person, and I see it, I'm like, oh boy, I need those shoes. He's like, you really need them, huh? You always need them. I'm like, yes, I do.
You have a closet full of shoes.
Yes. Let me tell you, I have 2 daughters, and that's the first. I've preached to them since they were little. I said, listen, you have to have your own. Yes. You have to be able to work on your own. You have to have your own car. You have to have your own stuff, because you know what? Anybody who comes along in life, you know what? They're a plus. Okay, thank you. But should something happen where you need to stand on your own, you can stand on your own 2 feet.
That's right. That's right. And when we take it to that place where we're building up strong women.
Yes.
We're not going to build women that are dependent on anyone. Right. Our daughters will have to be strong, because this world is rough and it's tough, and there's difficulties, and we're not going to be able to save them all the time. Mm-hmm. But we build strong women, not women that move with this freedom, that they think that they don't have to submit. That's not what I'm talking about. You love me. If you love me that much, listen, love will get you to submit. Mm-hmm. If a man loves you, girl,
yes,
he'll roll over and you're ready to just serve. When they love you the right way, when they love you the right way, we're willing to do what needs to be. You don't have to force me to do for you, because that love causes me to want to do.
Yes,
I can't help it. It just happens. So when we're looking at our daughters, we're building up strong women, independent women, but women that know that we have to be a team and that they're a helpmate. They're not a slave. They're not a rug. One of the things that my mother always taught me, don't sit there and get abused.
Exactly.
Right? Mm-hmm. Listen, as a pastor, as an apostle, I am very big on this. God's will is not for me to be abused, to be mistreated. No. So you got to be able to get to that place where you can say, I'm so secure. Yeah. I mean, you're here with me, I'm blessed. And if you're gone, I'm still blessed. And I told my daughters, you got to bring it to the table, because whatever you bring, that man needs to match it.
Exactly.
That's how it is. Mm-hmm. And it might not fit well with a lot of people, especially with the religious folk and our culture. But the reality is, I tell my young women, even the women in the church, listen, you have your own, and whatever you bring to the table, he should match it and maybe even go beyond it.
Exactly.
We're not doing that. We, not anymore. We're not living the 1920s or the 1940s.
No.
Not this, not now.
No, definitely. I made a recommendation earlier in this group for women to see a movie, and it was called Mona Lisa Smiles. Have you seen it?
Yes, I have.
My favorite all-time movie. And it is such an eye-opening movie because, like I explained to them, I said, these women were phenomenal. Like they're strong, educated women, and they were okay with wanting to get married and all that. And the school kind of encouraged that. And where Julia Roberts' character comes in and she's like, why? Like, why do you want to just, what she called settling? Why do you want to settle? And in my head, I'm like, I'm kind of with her. I'm with her on this.
Just don't ask me what I think.
Yeah. I'm like, no, you need your own, girl. You need your own. It's great that you got that washer and dryer, that brand new thing. But listen, we both can do the laundry.
Hello. It's teamwork. Marriage is teamwork.
Yes.
Marriage, one thing I tell the women that I mentor is whatever, when you're doing courtship, when you have your boyfriend, whatever you allow during courtship, don't expect it to be different when you get married because it ain't going to change. If you allowed it then, it's going to continue to happen. And you're going to want to change it later on. You accept things now. And like you said, you don't settle. You don't settle. You got to know what you deserve and what you're worth. And when you know what you, listen, you got to be up at that level. If you believe you're at that level, it doesn't matter who believes in you if you don't believe in yourself.
Boom.
That's important because people will come and go. And then you're stuck with your own self, with your own situation, with your own reality, But when you believe in yourself, anybody else, like you said, is a plus.
Yes, exactly.
I don't need anybody to stand. I stand. I don't need anybody to feed me. I feed myself. I go to the movies by myself. I take myself to a restaurant. Hey,
you're dating yourself.
That's right. I date myself. I'll buy my own flowers.
Exactly.
I'll buy my own negligee and just sleep in it.
And just do a little shimmy.
I'll put on my heels, girl. Yep. I'll throw around my house.
Yes.
And everyone's walking around. I'm feeling good about me. That's it. I put on my thick pajamas.
Yeah.
With my sweatpants.
I am like so blessed to have you here to speak to us. Let me tell you in our group, I've gotten messages where girls have like showed up with like hair did. Like, I got a new cut today. Like, I put on lashes today. Like, I'm like, yes, you're a queen. You're supposed to feel that way.
That's right.
Let me say, my husband loves it when I do it because you know what? He comes home, I already cooked him a nice full course meal and all that, and he loves it. He's like, yep, que tú quieres hoy.
What trick do you need? How much you need, baby?
Exactly. So, 20 years later, we still got it going on. So we're okay. So I know that you're very busy. I love having this chat with you. Thank you so much for the help with technology.
Oh, no problem. Listen, we're here to serve at all times. Thank you, Layla, for inviting me. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, it was my pleasure.
You don't even know. It was an honor to have you. And I'm going to be inviting you sometime. So
listen, I'm honored. I would love to. I'll do it in a heartbeat. And please share my group, everybody. Okay. It's ladies first. It's Layla's ladies first. Because you know what? Before anybody, you are a woman first. You're a lady first.
That's right.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun talking to you.
Thank you for having me. Yes. God bless you. God bless the ladies. And I declare in Jesus' name that they're going to continue to grow. There's nothing yet that is going to be funds coming to you so you can help these ladies in a way that you never even dreamed of. And I declare in Jesus' name that those better days are coming after you. You don't got to look for them. They're going to catch up to you. And before you know it, you're just moving forward with speed, with kingdom speed. And I declare in Jesus' name, open heavens in your life and in your family.
Amen.
God bless you so
I
much.
receive it all. I receive it all.
God bless you. I know it's not the first or the last time.
Thank
So
you. Thank
God bless.
you.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bendiciones.
So
Bye-bye.
nice.